If you have 10 minutes, I'm going to show how you can recreate this in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to want to do is load the pictures of your player onto the canvas. And I already have mine in the position I want them in just because I was already messing around with it before I started recording. After you have your pictures loaded in, go ahead and add the last name of your player into the canvas and then turn it sideways like I did here. And sometimes you might have to change the background just to see the letters better for what you typed for the last name. And then after doing that, after you have it located where you want, I went into the brush tool and I grabbed a solid brush just so I can erase some of this by the last name that I typed in. And then on the top layer right here, as you can see, I just unrevealed what I had covered up. It was a copy of the main picture here. And I went ahead and I did that because I wanted to create a clipping mask onto the text that I just typed. And you'll see in the end why it makes the picture like go into it makes the picture of the player go into the text, and it looks really cool. And I can go into more detail on that in another video if you want, but you can also slow it down to kind of see what I'm talking about. And then I went and grabbed the brush tool again just to erase the picture that's around the text area, because it will look cooler in the end the more text you erase, but you don't want to do too much. And then right there I was doing the clipping mask. And after you do the second clipping mask, you're going to want to go down here to the layer style. And the main thing you're going to want to put on here is the stroke, because as soon as you see I click that, it outlayers the font way better, and you can actually see it more. And then I went back in there and I added some drop shadow and the bevel and emboss. It just helps it pop more. And I go back in a few times to add some more drop shadow just to try to make it stand out as much as I can. And then right here what I was doing was just deleting some of the main picture using the brush tool, because I wanted the picture of the player to fade into the text. And then as you can see right here, I went back in and added some more drop shadow. And you can see it clearly, it makes it pop more, which I think looks better. And it's all opinion based, so if you want to play around with all the tools in here to see what looks best, you can, or you can just kind of follow what I did, but it's up to you. And then after that, I went to Google and I wanted to find a cool background, and I thought this picture of the Ohio State Stadium looked really cool, so I wanted to use it for the most part of the picture. And obviously you can see I used a brush tool and I erased most of it except the bottom left area. And I'll go in and add some more of that in a few minutes, but for right here I just wanted some of the main part of the picture kind of got erased whenever I cropped it, so I went back in and using the brush tool, make sure it's on the white shaded part, and just shade all that back in. And then right here what I was doing was just adjusting the size of the text for the last name, because I didn't want it to expand all the way to the helmet. I couldn't really get it at a good angle at the top to make it look good. Then the next thing I did right here was added the player name into the canvas. And then I was adding the old player number, because he was number 11 last year, but as you're going to see here in a second, he's number 1 for this upcoming year, and I just wanted to show that in kind of like a cool way. So I went ahead and added the number and then the Ohio State wide receiver. And then right here, the reason I faded the number 11 is because, like I said, it's gonna show that was his number last year and his new number is number 1. And then I went to Google and I grabbed the red arrow that you see here, and you can choose whatever arrow you want. Just make sure it fits into your graphic if you're going to do something like this. And then right here I was just putting the number 1 to show that's his new number. Then right here, I just wanted to add some more font at the top, so I put Ohio State football wide receiver, and I go ahead and change that in a few minutes because I didn't want to put Ohio State wide receiver twice because as you can see right here, I have it already. Then the next thing I went ahead and did was added shadows underneath the player's feet, and as you can see, all I did was go to the brush tool and change the size of the brush, and then the shape of it as well. And then I went right here, and after adding the size of the shadow that I liked, I changed the opacity, and then I went up to filter, and I wanted to add some noise because I feel like it makes it look more realistic. And then after that, I added a tweet that I thought would make the graphic look cooler, and it was just stating that this player is going to have a breakout year. And I just thought adding it kind of made the graphic pop a little bit more. And after you find the place that you want to locate the tweet, if you do go ahead and add a tweet, I went ahead and added some drop shadow, and then I wanted to make it look curved right here, and not just like a long rectangle. And there's easier ways to do it, or I should say better ways to do it. I just wanted to do it quick because I didn't want to spend too much time on that. And then right here, I changed the wide receiver part at the top because I didn't want to repeat a part of the graphic twice. So I just changed it to Ohio State football on its number. And then at the bottom, I just went ahead and added a black shadow, and I just wanted to make it darker at the bottom. I thought it looked cooler. And then I went online and I grabbed I just looked up white and black clouds, and you could do that or add the black and white filter on here in Photoshop, but I just thought this was easier. And then this is me just messing with the font at the top, and I decided to go with white at the end because I thought it looked best. And then right here, I didn't like how there was just that gray shadow on the right, so I tried black at first and I didn't really like it, so I went ahead and was messing around with the red, and I thought it looked really good. So I added that, and then using the brush tool and adding a layer mask, I touched it up to make it blend better. And then what I was doing right here was just adding noise to the red part, which was the background. And I wanted to lower the red on here because I thought it popped a little too much on the graphic. So I just changed the opacity a few times to try to mess with it and make it blend well into the football field and the clouds. And then right here, what I did, I just went back in and using the brush tool, I wanted to add the football field in a little bit more to make it blend better because I didn't like all the red that was just sitting there. I thought it looked kind of off. And then I went ahead and added a camera raw filter to the main. I did it to both pictures, but this one is the main part, the main picture on the graphic. And you can pause it to see exactly what filters I added, but it really just depends for your graphic. But I usually focus on texture and clarity the most. And after doing the camera raw filter for the main picture, I held down Command, Option, Shift, and E, and I'm using a Mac. When you hold that down, it makes all the layers go into one layer. And then I wanted to add just one final camera raw filter. And you can slow it down or just pause it to see exactly what filters I use. But once again, it's just to try to make your specific graphic pop the most. And after doing the final camera raw filter, here's the final result. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. And if you want more videos like this, please just drop a comment and let me know. Thank you.